A buzz meter this Sunday, Donald Trump blames the media for slamming his decision not to correct a questioner who called President Obama a Muslim and not American. And he's back making the case on the Sunday shows. Is that an important story? This after the media pronounced Carly Fiorina the undisputed winner of this week's debate, in part for taking on Trump, acting as a megaphone for the woman who had to fight her way onto the CNN stage.
The big name from last night, Carly Fiorina.
Carly Fiorina was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yes, I loved Carly Fiorina. I think she had a hugely powerful moment that everybody loved.
Carly Fiorina was in another league last night.
Carly Fiorina owned this debate from the beginning until the end.
Mr. Trump, why would you be better at creating jobs than Carly Fiorina?
So I only say this. She can't run any of my companies. That I can tell you.
You ran up mountains of debt as well as losses using other people's money, and you were forced to file for bankruptcy not once,
I never filed
not
for
twice,
bankruptcy.
4 times, a record 4 times.
But are the pundits again too quick to write off Trump? Did moderator Jake Tapper go too far in pushing and prodding the other candidates to mix it up? And
my name is Jake Tapper. I'll be the moderator.
They have used the laws of the land, which is the
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Christie's name has been invoked. I'd like to give him the 30-second opportunity. I want to. We're going to get to.
Jake, just one more moment.
So Jake,
Governor Bush.
Jake, quiet.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you,
Jake, you haven't heard.
Jake, I want to.
We're going to go to Dana Bash.
No.
Jake, did CNN let the 3-hour debate get out of control? Hillary Clinton makes her late-night debut.
You never let me touch his hair. No.
You want to touch mine?
Of course.
Sure. Okay, go ahead.
It's real. It's real.
Does that help her struggling campaign? Pope Francis is in Cuba today. We'll check in on the mass he's holding and about to visit America. Why much of the media and much of the country loves this trailblazing pontiff. Plus, Fox News anchor Jenna Lee takes on Conan O'Brien over an incredibly tasteless joke that likened her to a porn star. She'll tell us why she feels compelled to speak out. I'm Howard Kurtz, and this is Media Buzz. The media are now pouncing on Donald Trump for what he didn't say. Cable news constantly covering a moment at a New Hampshire town hall when Trump failed to challenge this man.
We have a problem in this country. It's called Muslims. We know our current president is one. Right. You know he's not even an American.
We need this
birth
question.
certificate, man. But anyway, we have training camps growing where they want to kill us. Mm-hmm. That's my question. When can we get rid of it?
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there.
You don't just pander to every loudmouth in your audience.
This is racist crap, of course, and it's, to me, the big original sin of Donald Trump.
Joining us now to talk about this uproar and CNN's handling of this week's debate, Mercedes Schlapp, a columnist for U.S. News, political consultant, and former White House aide to George W. Bush. Andrea McCarran, a reporter for Washington's WUSA-TV and a former correspondent for NBC and ABC. And Joe Trippi, a Democratic strategist and Fox News contributor. Mercy, huge media controversy over that moment with Donald Trump. Even news anchors like Anderson Cooper ripping him. Are the media justified in saying Trump should have corrected this crazy guy?
It's not the media's role to justify or basically tell Trump what he should or should not say. The problem became
that with all the candidates.
Well, but I mean, again, they became sort of this opinion voice or out there basically saying, you know what, he's a racist. What his comment was incorrect. He should have challenged the man. Here's the deal. Donald Trump is going to play his own game, and he's going to ignore the media. In fact, those voters out there are basically saying, go at it. You don't need to respond to the media's, criticism of you.
Well, Trump went uncharacteristically silent for about 24 hours, but now he is not ignoring the media, Andrea. I mean, he started out with a treat. The media want to make this about Obama, talking about a war on Christians. So is he once again able to diffuse this sort of thing by blaming the press?
No, he's not, Howie. And I should say that unlike some journalists, I am willing to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. That being said, he could have easily deflected that moment by handling it graciously, as John McCain did in 2008 when fielding a similar question. He did not. And unlike the other 11 candidates on that main stage, he had a unique responsibility to answer to that question. Why? Because he spent so much time and effort trying to tell American voters that President Obama was not an American.
Well, questioning it certainly 4 years ago, and whenever that has come up in this campaign, Trump has deflected it, but he has not renounced what he said about raising questions about the birth certificate. All right, Joe Trippi, I want to play for you what Trump said at a speech last night, and then he was a late addition, calling in to 3 Sunday shows on ABC, CNN, NBC, pretty much saying the same thing. Let's take a look.
And the press is going crazy, and they all wanted to see me. And I said, you know, for the first time in my life, I got in trouble by not saying anything. I didn't say anything. Am I morally obligated to defend the president every time somebody says something bad or controversial about him? I don't think so, right?
And the press is going crazy, as Trump said.
I think this all exposes liberal bias of the press. I mean, I'm a liberal. I'm appalled that he didn't correct the guy. But the fact is, we're covering the Republican primary. And nearly 50% of the Republican primary voters believe what Donald Trump is saying. That's who he's played to for the last two years. So, you know.
Wait a second now. This is not somebody trashed the president. He has no obligation to respond. He's playing to Republican voters. It is a fact that President Obama, according to his birth certificate, was born in Hawaii in 1961. And it is also a fact that he's attended Christian church, including the one with the ravings of Reverend Jeremiah Wright. And so you're saying the press is showing its liberal bias by not correcting the factual aspect?
No, correcting the factual. But the focus of this is not how appalled everybody or the press should be or whether it was right or wrong. It's how does this impact the Republican primary, and it can't hurt him if he's appealing to the 50% of the Republicans who believe this.
There's an expectation with Trump that he needs to respond in a certain way. And for example, Trump does not need to defend the president. He does not need to be the president's spokesperson. The president can do that on his own. But I think it's unfair of the media to just constantly have this expectation that Trump is going to come out and correct these statements or, you know, challenge the person who asked the question.
So you two agree that the press is out of line here?
I think they're focusing on the wrong thing. Where are the other people in the Republican Party? It's not his responsibility to knock this down.
Right.
It should be somebody's responsibility.
And some of the candidates are doing just that. Some of the Republican candidates.
And that's what they should be reporting.
Exactly. I have to jump in here and defend the press, I guess. And that is, it is our responsibility to follow up, as we would with a follow-up question, because this is not an ethical question. This is a question about accuracy.
Right. Correct the facts. I agree with that, but don't have that expectation that Donald Trump has to respond in a certain way because it's not good enough for the press.
I think it's also how appalling it. I mean, there's a tone to it that I think
continued. At the CNN debate this week, there were a lot of questions for Donald Trump and the other 10 candidates on the stage. I knew watching, and you probably did too, the second this happened, this would be the soundbite that would be replayed again and again involving Carly Fiorina. Let's take a look.
Donald Trump said the following about you, quote, "Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that?"
You know, it's interesting to me. Mr. Trump said that he heard Mr. Bush very clearly and what Mr. Bush said. I think women all over this country heard very clearly what Mr. Trump said.
I think she's got a beautiful face, and I think she's a beautiful woman.
And I think you have a beautiful face as well.
Well, thank you. And I'll keep clapping for Carly on that statement.
All right, she had a great night. There's no question she was the winner of the debate. But as we played earlier, everybody just gushing over Carly Fiorina. Going a little overboard here?
No, I think clearly she won that debate. It was.
Yes, but the press now,
it was fine for the media to make that statement to
Media-eyed headline. She's the best bet for the presidency on the basis of one debate.
That one probably is a one line that went too far. But when you start looking at the other stories that trickled out the next day, it was all about, yes, she won the debate, but now she has to worry about campaign structure and what does this mean to raising money.
Some people did that, but the cumulative effect of all this Carly, I think really helps her even beyond her performance.
You agree with Rush Limbaugh, who basically said that the news media is trying to pick our candidate and that Carly's the flavor of the week. So you and Rush are on the same page.
I'm not picking any candidate. All right. Carly did a round of morning show interviews on cable, and she got asked this question: why didn't you smile during the debate?
Wasn't that absolutely absurd? You know, part of the media gushing over Carly Fiorina had a downside, which is she's held to a ridiculous double standard.
You're saying a male candidate doesn't get that question.
Did anybody ask Scott Walker or Marco Rubio why they didn't smile more? Ben Carson didn't smile very much. No one asked them about that. Nobody talked about their wardrobe.
Scott Walker, by the way, said in an interview that the media narrative was all decided in advance, that everyone would say Carly had a big night no matter what happened. I don't know how we all sort of circulated the memo.
A little sour grapes.
A little bit, okay. But now the flip side of all the positive press for Carly Fiorina, much of it deserved by a press corps that basically wrote her off at the beginning as a ridiculous long shot, is that Trump was really hurt by this. Trump had a bad night. Trump looked uncomfortable at times. And I wonder whether once again, Joe, the pundits are a little too quick to write off Trump.
I think people have lost all perspective on what's happening here. If 22 million people are watching this debate, I think Donald Trump's right that a vast majority of them are tuning in to see him. And if they're tuning in to see him, you're not going to, if 18 million of them are tuning in to see him, you're not going to move the numbers as much as pundits who sit back and are sure Carly won this thing, and I think she did. Yeah. But it's not going to show up as big in the polls as we're making it to be.
And I do think that the media has changed the narrative a little bit, where it's gone from Trump mania to Carly mania.
Right.
And it makes,
but Trump says he won the debate because he kept citing this Drudge poll.
Well, those Drudge polls, that not only was that what you're talking, CNN, Newsmax, several of these news organizations came out there basically saying Trump won the debate because of these Drudge polls. These Drudge polls are not scientific polls.
Right.
So for him to, and he actually used that in his tweets. He would go out and basically say, I won the debate.
There is a new CNN poll this morning of overall preference among Republicans. Trump 24%, Carly rocketing to 15%, right. Second place in that poll. Finally, Ben Carson on Meet the Press this morning said that he would not advocate that a Muslim become president of the United States. Is this going to blow up in the next 24 hours, as the media say that is something that that no candidate should say because he's talking about a whole group of people?
I think it's going to blow up, but I think, again, in the perspective of a Republican primary, in which my guess is there's a huge piece of the Republican voter pool that believes exactly what Carson just said. That's
I'm really
what's
not
going
sure if
on
that's
here.
the case.
Well, that's
and keep in mind,
see.
Interesting to see a poll like that. It's different than them saying that 43% of Republicans.
Yeah, and keep in mind, all of Donald Trump's controversial statements blew up, and it worked for him. So it is possible that Ben Carson wanted some attention on his campaign.
This is what I mean about the liberal bias. I would be appalled by that statement.
Right. But you're not a Republican primary voter.
But I'm not a Republican primary
I don't think you're in danger of becoming one. Let me get a break. Don't forget to tweet me at Howard Kurtz with your thoughts and messages. And ahead, Fox's Jenna Lee on the dirty joke that Conan O'Brien told about her and why she's fighting back. But when we come back, the pluses and minuses of CNN's format. Did the debate veer out of control?
At Ally Bank, no branches equals great rates. It's a fact. Kind of like playing the boss equals the boss wins.
Wow!
Like I think they should make a move, make a rise, so it's understood. It's all